Mireya Villarreal and Julie Hightower are the co-founders of the Beauty Gives Back Foundation. Mireya is a CEO and founder of Pink Pewter, as well as the heads up Pink Pewter Foundation. She is also the board of directors for the American Beauty Show. Julie Hightower is an executive board president of the Daisy Foundation and the Daisy Project. Today, we're going to learn about what makes these two change makers, community builders, and visionaries. What is the Beauty Gives Back Foundation and how did they come to this? What is this entrepreneurial journey of these two incredibly powerful women that are making changes in our industry? Welcome back to the Hairdresser Strong Show. My name is Robert Hughes and I am your host. And today I'm with Mireya and Julie. How you doing today?
Hey there. Happy Tuesday.
Happy
Hello,
Tuesday.
everyone.
Happy Tuesday. So,
Happy
Julie, you
Tuesday.
look like you're out and about. What are you, what's
I
going on?
am, Robert, I am committed to mental wellness and moving my body. And I am committed to doing 20,000 steps a day.
I
And
love it.
so you caught me in the midst of that, but I was very committed to what you're doing. We are very committed to what you're doing and super excited to be on your show. So I am moving my body. So I encourage everyone to get their cardio in, move their body via walking, do something because you'll feel better in your mind, in your heart, and your soul.
Well, it's real, the entrepreneurial experience of life includes multitasking, and you're
That's
putting it
right.
on display. Yeah. Okay, so let's start with Mireya. Tell us a little bit about tell us like a little bit about like your you have Pink Pewter, you're on the American Beauty Show board, and tell us a little bit about like your entrepreneurial journey through all that. Like kind of like what's the kind of like high level experience you had, and if you could include any major learning experiences along the way to get you to where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I want to tell everyone how incredibly honored I am to be on this show with you. Last year, you were at Beauty Gives Back, and let me tell you, everyone loved you. Like, loved you, and I loved you. And we are so excited
Agreed.
to have you back at our Beauty Gives Back event because, yeah, I'm just saying, you are phenomenal at what you do. You talk with your heart, and you're not bullshit. Okay, that's why I like you. I only hang around with people that have a light, and you have the most incredible light. And your wife, oh my God, I just love her. I
Thank
just
you.
love her.
Me
But
too.
let's let's go back to okay. So I started in a 600 square foot salon, $12 haircuts, to growing an international brand sold in over 42 countries. And let me tell you, my life and my journey hasn't been easy. And if only I would have started with the right mentors, I would have probably been 10, 10 times better than I am right now. And I made a lot of mistakes, horrible mistakes, where I was days away to filing bankruptcy. And the mindset and the power of the passion that I had kept me going, like kept me going. And I rebuilt my business and I got back on track better than ever. But let me tell you, the reason we became partners in this event, the nonprofit, is because it is so important to give back. And I noticed that in my journey, the more you gave, the more doors were getting opened. And I don't know, having a business and having a nonprofit is one of the most incredible things that I've ever done because, you know, nonprofit world, giving back is like the medicine for your soul and your mind. And I'm just so honored to have met Julie because I'll be honest with you, all my life I've been doing that, like giving back, but I never knew that how important it was to give back in a different level. 9 years, my company has been sponsoring her nonprofit, and she did beautiful things with her nonprofit, and I realized that we don't have this in the beauty industry, and we needed to bring that love and passion over here, and that's why we co-founded the nonprofit Beauty Gives Back to be able to give mentorship, inspiration, empowerment and all these things on our September 15 event. So
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, it's a journey.
Awesome. Well, how about you, Julie? What is your story, kind of high level story of getting to where you are today?
Sure. So my background is pretty unique. I'm Robert, a little different than yours and Mireya specifically. I am not originally from Chicagoland. I moved here for my medical sales career and pursuing something completely different. And really, I'll be honest with you, and your audience is that nonprofit give back, being a blessing, pouring into to the community was modeled by my parents and my grandparents. And so it was just something that was expected. That's what we did as a very young child. So I really didn't know any different. And I knew the secret sauce after it being modeled and being fulfilled in every way and having my joy cup overflowing was to be the blessing to others. And so, through my medical sales experiences and serving on other nonprofit boards in Chicago and outside of Chicago, I was exposed and learned very, very early on about give back through random acts of kindness. And that's how Daisy actually was created. And so Daisy is known for random acts of kindness, specifically targeting women and children, specifically in socioeconomic challenged communities. So we're known for surprising children in schools for the holidays, which we're gearing up for. We do Mother's Day makeover. You have to come and have Mireya do your hair, y'all. But anyway, Mireya goes to work, rolls her sleeves up. We work with other hairstylists to make moms feel good and dads feel good just in time for Mother's Day and Father's Day. And you just don't know what your one yes is connected to. And so, in learning and being exposed to people, you hear people's stories and journey, and you're like, wow, my one yes was connected to that. And maybe if I wouldn't have said yes today, would she feel good? Would she be propelled? Would she feel elevated? And when you find the need, everything comes. The money comes, everything comes, and people will say yes, and they'll be on board. And so
Nice.
9 years later, we're literally going into our 10-year anniversary of honoring children and women across Chicago, Houston, and Milwaukee now. Didn't know at the time that it would amass to this. Honestly, we started in a very, very close friend of mine's basement. And I'll say, you asked me about the learning. Never underestimate the power of purpose and passion. Because let me tell you something. You want to make God laugh? Tell him your plan. Because I can assure you, I did not want to do what my parents did, which was nonprofit. They're on like multiple boards still to this day. I did not want to do it. I ran away from it at my church. Everything that I was involved, I was like, oh no, because I know this is going to be work. But I had to get out of myself and say, what if I serve? What if my yes? And what if me putting my apron on can benefit and be a blessing to somebody else? And when you move yourself out of the way and think of others, you're restored, you're renewed, your joy cup is overfilled, and you'll be blessed in so many ways. And it's not just money. Give me the good health. I want good health. Because you got
Mm,
good health, you can get
yeah,
anything you want. Yes.
that's
So
awesome.
hopefully to
Yeah,
answer your question.
yeah, no, totally. So let's do this. Maria, what along your journey and like discovering like everything that you've like learning and you know even like along the way to ending up to this point where you're built the Beauty Gives Back Foundation with Julie. What would you say, like, if there's another entrepreneur out there that wants to build a business, but also is passionate about helping others? What like is like was your biggest learning experience along this pathway of yours? If you had to pick one or maybe two, you know.
I'm going to say that, going into the entrepreneur route, you have to start with the right foundation. Absolutely. And you have to know your finance. If you don't know your numbers, you're not going to succeed. And I'll be honest with you. Uh, Julie always said, and she actually taught me, slow feed, don't eat, but it's really true when it comes to that. You got to keep on hustling in your business, and you got to get the right mentors to keep on growing it. Because if you don't have those mentors or you're not in the room to keep on growing your business, it's going to be hard. Okay. Distractions are there. You have to be laser focused in what you're doing. And honestly, yes, I'll say passion sells. It did for me. I created, an accessory that I never thought that I would ever sell in, all over the world. People made fun of me, but you know what? I was so passionate and so laser focused on my mission that I ended up making it successful. You can do whatever you want. You just have to have the organization in place in order for it to be successful. And I'm going to go back to, the nonprofit now. Now I have a lot of people say, Mariah, I want to start a nonprofit. I'm like, I say, you know what? I think you need to volunteer, right? One, in the beginning, learn from how to grow it, because I'll be honest, it takes a lot of time. My business is established already, and I have people that work with me and run it and everything. If I had to run my business full time, there's no way that I would have this kind of distraction, because it's a lot. I'm not saying it's a good distraction for me because it's my purpose now, but it takes a lot of time. Like our Beauty Gives Back event, it's 1 year in the making. You know how to do a show? It's a lot. Everything, the build up, it's starting with the right foundation, the right, things that you need to implement it so it could be successful. And it's like that with any career. Your career, an event, working for someone, organization, and being very strategic on how you build your business is important. But you have to be honest. I always say, if you're honest, the doors will always open. If you lie, forget about it. The beauty industry is very tiny, okay? And it's gigantic, but it's also very tiny. There's very few people that, you know what I'm talking about. So you have to have those relationships that will keep on helping you grow. Because if you don't have them, it's hard, right? Especially hairdressers. We know a lie. We know bullshit in 2 seconds. And you have to be an honest person in order to have the most successful business. I see it all the time. People see it right through you. So be honest. Growth is very important when it comes to entrepreneurship. And, being in the room with the right mentors is important also. Education. You're doing the education. We're doing the education. We have a show that has almost 30 people. What is it? 28 people, Julie, on stage that are going to be sharing their blueprint to success. That's the reason why, me and Julie started this, is because we're around so many people that want to become entrepreneurs, but they didn't get that education, when they got out. They stayed in that little box. So what we are doing is we're shaking that box, we're shaking the mind, and we're letting people come on that stage and share those, triumphs and the mistakes. Because when I'm on stage, people don't want to hear that I have a successful business. They know I have a successful business, but they want to know my mistakes, my failures. How did you work with that company and not break it? Like, it's hard. Or how did you work with that person? It's difficult. What are your strategic moves? What are your mistakes are the number one thing that people want. And on that stage, we bring in key change makers in the beauty industry that have different stages in their lives of success, for mentorship, for growth, for getting your business to the next level, because you need it. You need it.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. What about you, Julie? If you were thinking, talking to the entrepreneur who's listening to this, who wants to grow a business or is growing a business, or maybe has a business, but let's just think like they're in the process, but they also want to give back. What advice do you have to them as an entrepreneur, but also as a philanthropist, someone who wants to launch
Sure.
something?
Sure. So one thing I would ask is, why do you want to do this? Like, if you can't tell me why and not be clear on, I'm not talking about a pitch. I'm talking about, why do you want to do this? And if you don't know your why, then you need to sit down, reflect, meditate, and pray